here. Feels like the last week of August, I guess. Shana Sissel does this stuff for a living. She is the president and CEO of Banríon Capital Management out there in Chicago. Shana, what are the conversations you're having with your clients these days about alternatives? How do they figure into a modern day portfolio, stocks, bonds? How do you want to have alternatives play there?
Alts is what we do at Banríon, so it's what we have most of our conversations about. And right now, the focus has been on finding ways to add diversifying alternatives, things like managed futures, global macro, hedged equity, arbitrage strategies, maybe a little bit of private credit, and then the debate on where that really belongs. Does it belong in your alternative sleeve or does it belong in your fixed income sleeve? I'm a big believer that it belongs in your fixed income sleeve. So overall, it's really just been about where does it fit in, and overall, most people understand that alts should be in their portfolio. The debate really comes from like where it fits. Is it part of equity and fixed income, like with private credit and private equity? Is it a diversifier? And the majority of the focus today, because of the volatility in the market and the idea that the economy could be slowing down, although there's no real signs of that, adding the diversifying alternatives to kind of mitigate the volatility in client portfolios.
Shana, there have been several new products in the ETF space. I'm wondering if you can just highlight some trends for us, and what do you like there?
So the new stuff in the ETF space, I'm not the biggest fan of. You're seeing a lot of buffer ETFs, especially in the crypto space, and I'm not a fan of those. I feel like if you're going to invest in crypto, the value add there is the volatility that they bring to the table, and the buffer ETFs remove all of the diversification benefits of crypto, in my opinion. We're seeing a lot of partnering, right? So you saw the iShares Bridgewater product, the Apollo State Street product, because it's becoming apparent from the alternative asset manager side that they should be in this space, but it's not their area of expertise. So they're pairing with big firms like iShares and Spider to go and bring product to market to the broader retail space. So those are the two biggest trends I'm seeing. I'm not loving a lot of the new product that's coming to market. The product that I tend to like is the product that gets the least amount of attention, and it shows in their assets under management. It's the stuff that actually is implementing hedge fund-like strategies and macro type strategies that are not maybe easy to market and package. And those are things like CBLS, which is an active long-short equity fund, things like BTAL, which is equity market neutral. And then you have some of the new product coming out by Unlimited Funds that is really interesting, that kind of plays on Bob Elliott's backdrop and background, having worked in the hedge fund world. And those are the products I really like, but they don't get the most attention because they're not sexy and they don't have really sexy marketing teams.
Private equity, I think what I've noticed over the last 20, 25 years is it's not that hard to raise money. It's not that hard to deploy money. The hard part is monetizing your investments, particularly over the last 6, 7, 8 years. How do you expect that to play out here? I've heard Jamie Dimon and some other big Wall Street bankers say that they believe activity is going to pick up, IPOs, exits. How do you think about that?
Well, one of the latest trends in private equity, they're calling continuation funds, which I think is the funniest thing ever. But it's essentially a private equity fund that raises capital, invests and deploys that capital into businesses, but doesn't have a clear opportunity to exit the strategy after 5 to 10 years. So they sell it to another private equity fund and it goes into a new vintage. And that's how they get their exit. And that's kind of how private equity has been playing the waiting game in an IPO market that hasn't been as active as it has been in the past, and things that are coming to market are much more mature. So, just doing these continuation funds is how private equity has been dealing with the lack of exit opportunities that we have today.
Shana, what's the number one alt investment most folks should have in their portfolio?
Oh, God, that's a great question. I don't think you can just have one. I think it's like fixed income and equities, where you have to think about how to build the building blocks for a diversified portfolio. But if you wanted to think about maybe balanced funds would be the equivalent in the fixed income equity world, I think in the alternative world, you got to look at multi-strat, Same idea. It's just multiple types of alternative investments in a single strategy. So if balanced funds, the answer in the traditional space, multi-strats, the answer in the alternative space. And that would be a fully diversified alternative sleeve.
30 seconds left. Shana, real estate. How do you guys thinking about it now?
So in the alt space, it's private real estate, and that continues to be an area that there's a lot of interest. That's where we're seeing the most interest today. And a lot of our partners are in that space. They're finding really interesting opportunities where they're taking advantage of distressed asset managers who need to sell properties at lower rates. So that's easily the most popular area. And it's largely because there's this distress that's going on, especially in commercial.
Yep.
But also they're very strong income producers, and people are looking for alternative ways to generate income in portfolios.
Shana, always interesting chatting with you. Shana Sissel, President and CEO of Banríon Capital Management out there in Chicago. Red and green still on the screen here. We'll keep an eye on that. Coming up, Jennifer Rhee, she's Bloomberg Intelligence Senior Litigation Antitrust Analyst. We're going to talk to her about a M&A trade that was announced a week or two ago in the broadcast television space. Tegna merging with another TV broadcaster. Are the regulators going to let that go through? That's coming up.